Part B of section 2.8 deals with what's called the difference quotient. This is a big deal in calculus. Actually, the first half of calculus comes from this little formula and obviously a little bit more onto it, but we're basically going to be evaluating a function, but with letters instead of numbers. So f of x plus h literally means replace x with x plus h. So on number one, let's see what that means. So the first part it wants me to do is replace x with x plus h. So this would be 8 x plus h minus 7. And so then I'll just distribute. That's going to be 8x plus 8h minus 7. Okay, so part A is done. The next part it wants for part B of this is to take what I just found and subtract off the original function. So this would be 8x plus 8h minus 7. Again, that's what I just found in part A. But now I'm going to subtract off this function. Now be careful. That's subtracting off the entire function. So I have to think, oh, I'm distributing a negative sign through. So I would be distributing a negative sign through that. And you can see that some of the stuff goes away here. 8x minus 8x, negative 7 plus 7, and I'm just left with 8h. So that would be the answer to part B. So here was part A. Here was part B. Part C now says, okay, take it one step further. To finish the difference quotient, I have to take what I just found, which is 8h, and I have to divide that by h. So for part C, it's going to be that 8h I found divided by h. The h's cancel, and I'm left with 8. That's my difference quotient for number one. Now, I don't always get a numerical answer. Sometimes I can. But this is called the difference quotient because difference, we're subtracting, quotient, we're dividing. So that's where that name comes from. For right now, we're not going to worry so much about what this means. We're just going to focus on the calculation. As you get into pre-calculus, you'll learn a little bit more about what it means, and then you'll really get a grasp of it once you get to calculus. For number 2, again, we're going to go through the same process. Part A says find f of x plus h. So again, I'm going to replace the x with x plus h. That's the idea. If I do that, that's going to be 6 minus 5 x plus h. So if I distribute the negative 5, that's going to be 6 minus 5x minus 5h. Okay, part B says take what you just found, f of x plus h, which is the 6, let's use the same color, 6 minus 5x minus 5h. But now again, I'm going to subtract the original function, minus f of x. So I'm subtracting this, which again means I'm distributing a negative through that. That's going to be minus 6 plus 5x. Again, I distributed a negative through. Notice that some stuff goes away. This time I'm left with just negative 5h. So again, here was part A's answer. Here's part B's answer, which is f of x plus h minus f of x. Now for part C, I'm going to take my answer from part B, and I'm going to divide that by h. And as we can see again, the h's cancel. And so my answer here is negative 5. Again, I got a numerical answer, but as you'll see in the next one, that does not always happen. For number 3, now things are going to get a little trickier. So again, I'm going to go through these steps. Part A is plug in x plus h for x. So this is going to be x plus h squared and then minus 12. Okay, there's definitely going to be more work to do here. Well, x plus h squared is, I have to actually square that out. So off to the side, you could do x plus h times x plus h. Let's see what we get. We get x squared plus xh plus hx plus h squared. Okay, so that was foiling that out. Notice that these are actually the same term. They're both xh's or hx, whichever way you want to say it. I have 2 of those. So the x plus h squared part became x squared plus 2 xh's plus h squared. Again, I combined those 2 because there's 2 of them. And then I still have minus 12. Okay, so that was part A. That's the answer to part A. Part B says, okay, take that answer and subtract off the original function. Remember, minus f of x. Well, if I'm subtracting that off, again, the signs have to switch. So that's going to be minus x squared plus 12. Again, notice some stuff goes away. The x squareds go away, the 12s go away, but I'm left with a little bit more than I have previously had. I'm going to be left with 2xh plus h squared. So that's the answer to part B. Now part C says, all right, take your answer that you just got. So the answer I just got was 2xh plus h squared and divide that by h. Now, this is a little trickier, but this should always happen. That h in the denominator should cancel out. But now how does it? Well, the red stuff, the numerator, this has a common h that I can factor out. So this would be h, and that would leave me with 2x plus h in the parentheses divided by h. Now the h out front can cancel with the h in the denominator, leaving me with 2x plus h. That's my difference quotient for number 3. Notice I did not just get a number. I actually got an expression. Most of the time we will get an expression on these. Let's try a little more complicated one for the last one. I'm still going to follow the same process though. So first thing I'm going to do for part A is I'm going to replace x with x plus h. So this is going to be 2 x plus h squared minus 4 x plus h plus 3. Okay, these obviously get fairly complicated, or can get more complicated. Well, on the previous problem, I did x plus h squared. So I know that that is going to be x squared plus 2xh plus sign there, 2xh plus h squared. Now notice this time it has a 2 out in front of it, so I can't forget about that. I have minus 4 times x plus h. So I have to distribute the negative 4. That's going to be minus 4x minus 4h. And then I still have a plus 3. I still got some work to do with this. So if I distribute the 2x squared plus 4xh plus 2h squared, and I still have minus 4x minus 4h plus 3. Yowzas. Nothing combines. That is the first part. That would represent f of x plus h. The part B, and I'm not going to rewrite all of part A. Part B is minus off the original function. So if I take the part that's in the highlighted box, and I subtract off the original function, remember that's going to switch all the signs. So minus 2x squared plus 4x minus 3. Note that some of the things cancel out. Let's see, the 2x squareds cancel, the 4x's go away, and the 3's go away. So what am I left with after I do f of x plus h minus f of x? I'm left with 4xh plus 2h squared minus 4h. And again, the last step is to divide this by h. Notice though in the numerator again, just like on the previous problem, everything has a common h that I can factor out. There technically is a 2 that can factor out, but it's not really going to help me, so it's not necessary to do that. But I can factor an h out of all the red stuff. And that'll leave me with 4x plus 2h minus 4. And that's all over h. And now I can cancel these h's out, which notice that seems to be happening every time. That h cancels out with that h. And so my difference quotient for this last problem is 4x plus 2h minus 4. I would strongly suggest not trying to skip steps. Do these piece by piece. Figure out f of x plus h. Subtract off the original function. Figure that all out. Get it simplified down. Then chances are you'll be factoring an h out to cancel with this h that's in the denominator.